Welcome to the second video in which I want to talk a little bit about the job that you're being hired to do. In the first video, we talked about the example that McDonald's, when they were trying to figure out how to make a better milkshake, they struggled. Their clients, customers were able to tell them how to improve their shakes, but it didn't necessarily translate into more people buying shakes. So they hired Clayton Christensen to figure out this problem, and what they did was stumble upon the idea of what is the job that you're being hired to do. So that's kind of what we talked about in the last video. So in other videos, Clayton breaks the concept of what is the job you're being hired to do into subcomponents. So today I want to talk a little bit about those subcomponents. So functional, emotional, and social. Okay, so let's talk about functional. Let's go back to the example of a milkshake. What was the function for that milkshake? What was the function that people that hired that milkshake needed it to do? What they needed it to do was be so viscous that it would take them a long time to consume. You know, a banana wouldn't do it, it's too quick. Bagels and donuts were kind of messy, and they wouldn't have the same effect as a shake. So functionally, the McDonald's shake did the job that they could put it in their cup holder, and as they drive, once in a while they'll take a sip and then continue their drive. So you know, the question is for your job or for your client, oftentimes for a job that you're applying to, you're given a functional description. This is what we want you to do, okay? And if you really drill into it, you're given keywords there. So there's actually services online that will drill down into resumes and identify keywords in that resume. And if you wanted to improve your chances of landing a job through, through manipulation, you will go back and you will modify those keywords to tailor it to that particular client or company. The second, so oftentimes the functional is the easiest. People tell you, I need X, Y, and Z. People weren't telling them, oh, I need a milkshake. They were telling them, I need something that was so thick that I couldn't drink it in 10 seconds, something that will last. These were the constraints on that job. So emotionally, how do we approach the emotional part of it? That shake is full of sugar, so would provide that high, a little bit on sugar high while you're driving, and that comforting feeling that when you take a sip of it, you get a nice feeling. This is cooling me. This is relaxing me. It gets your mind off the road. The emotional components of jobs is oftentimes what we bring to the job. How does a job make us feel? What is it? Is it align with our primary values? For example, in another video, I talked about creativity being a primary value for me. By the way, the pictures in the background are the ones I've painted. So in case you were wondering, I'm going to be showcasing my artwork throughout these series too. So if it doesn't align with your primary values, then you're either stressed or you feel fulfilled. So this is all on you. So how does this job making me feel? How do I feel about what it's having me do? How do I feel about do I feel like this is in line with what I want to do long term? Or is it just a means to an end? So that's the emotional component of a job. The last part is the social part. And if you know a lot about the social component, I think that's become more and more important, as I think we're moving away from individual contributors to more like team contributors. And I think that over time, the social component, the social intelligence is the key to success. At any job. So on a shake, the social component might be how other people perceive you drinking a milkshake. And if you come into work in the morning with a milkshake, they might ask, oh, that's interesting that you brought a milkshake. to work. So there's a little bit of a social component. On a job, I think you have to really, or with clients, you always have to be looking at who are the stakeholders, that you need to satisfy. Who are the people that, if you don't satisfy, are going to be upset with you. So you always need to identify the key stakeholders, whether you're doing a project or whether you're on a team. There's always different power struggles going on in teams. So you always want to figure out who the right people are that you want to get on your side. So hopefully these three components get you to think a little bit about this. So we talked about the job, and now we talked about the three components: the functional aspect of it, the emotional aspect of it, and the last one is the social. So, for your job or your product, you have to always think about those three components. For example, for my Refinery Basics, it's functional. What is the function that he's trying to accomplish? He's trying to accomplish teaching somebody Refinery Basics in 6 hours versus a person spending 2 days in the classroom. What's the emotional? Well, if you get to be able to focus for 6 hours, plus maybe a couple hours here to do the quizzes and the maps, you will feel good that you accomplished something towards your goal of becoming more of a more knowledgeable about refining and being a team member and getting promoted. So that makes you feel good that you've taken one step closer towards your goal. And then the social is you are going to become a better team member because people are now going to start seeing you as knowledgeable about all the different units and how they connect and how you execute and why we execute. So I think that helps you with the social component. So you can quickly see how this course, the breakdown of the job that it's trying to accomplish, the job that you hire me to do, helps you get towards your goal. So hopefully this explanation gives you a little bit of something to think about the job and the subcomponents of functional, emotional, social. And again, my course is either up there or down here. And hopefully you enjoy the series. Take care.